your cast of the Why So Serious show on BlazeRadioOnline.com.
Hello and welcome into the Why So Serious show. I'm Mallory Schnell alongside Jesse Morrison and special guests Max Bechtel, Evan Osherwitz, and Matt Kling. We have a lot to talk about this week, but as usual, we will get right into movies with Max and The Last Dance.
Good intro, Mallory. Way to go.
It's time for everyone's favorite segment. Well, kind of.
Life moves pretty fast. You don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.
There are no two words in the English language more harmful than good job. It always had Paris.
Here's Movies with Max.
All right, guys. Hi, guys.
Hi.
I was about to say, what's all right, guys?
Yeah, we need the hi, guys.
I was getting ahead of myself. So before we get into The Last Dance, I just wanted to talk about a little movie called The King of Staten Island. The trailer just dropped this week. It is one of my favorite trailers in the last few years. It looks phenomenal. Judd Apatow is director of it. It's always exciting when Judd Apatow is directing a movie.
Did he do Step Brothers?
No, that's Adam McKay, but Judd Apatow heavily influenced Adam McKay. Judd Apatow kind of changed comedy movies forever. His influence, he's probably the most influential director, honestly, of the last 20 years or so. Every comedy that has come in the last few years is directly influenced by Judd Apatow. His new movie looks phenomenal. It looks funny. It looks heartfelt. It looks personal. Yeah, he made Knocked Up.
So good.
He is a genius, and this movie looks amazing. It drops on streaming in like 3 weeks. Definitely, I will be checking out. Definitely, other people should be checking out too. Anyway, on to The Last Dance now. So I needed to get my guy Jerry Krause in here for the Last Dance talk. He's my favorite person. So we finally got baseball episode.
Yeah.
So what'd you guys think of it?
What do I think of it? Okay, so the part where they're talking about Jordan and his competitiveness, I don't know if that was the baseball episode or the episode 8, where he starts crying about how competitive he was.
That was the end of the baseball episode.
Yeah, okay. Like, I'm sorry, but, like, everybody praising that, like, that's a little, like, sad, honestly, that he's crying about how competitive he was as a basketball player.
That whole thing was really weird because, like, a lot of people are bringing up the thing where it's like, oh, like Jordan heard someone clapping in the stands and then just made it his mission to, like, end their lives. Like, that's, like, kind of what it seemed like. It was like people were, like, celebrating and he was just like, oh, you're going down now. Like, it was weird.
Yeah, the end of that episode was very confusing because you have most of the episode being spent on how Jordan decided to retire and debunking all the conspiracy theories around retirement, all to go around and say that he had this master plan to play baseball and has this oddly, you can call it successful or not. I mean, hitting 200's hitting 200, that's not good, but hitting 200 after not playing baseball in 13 years.
Double
A, which
it's
is
impressive.
The most competitive level of minor league baseball. Yeah, it's impressive. But the end of the episode just took a weird turn. I mean, I know they were talking about the New Jersey Nets series in 1998, but, you know, it was just weird to see that whole thing. Now, was that the episode where they had the 93-94 Bulls season with Scottie Pippen sitting out for a final shot? Yeah.
Yes.
That was in episode 7.
Yeah, that was a very interesting thing because, you know, before this episode, there was the talk about Tony Kukoc and how he was this hyped up prospect who was overseas and how they didn't really want him to join the team. And he winds up becoming a clutch player while Jordan's gone, all while Pippen is supposed to be leading this team. And Pippen sort of, you know, he tries to do it. And he's an all-star that year alongside Horace Grant, B.J. Armstrong. But he just didn't do his job to take the final shot. Because once he heard he wasn't going to take the final shot, he just said, I'm not going in. So that was an interesting sequence, but I was really confused by the end of that episode.
I'm
And
very
here's what I'm saying. I think this was the first episode where I've actually thought maybe 10 hours really isn't enough to really tell this in depth of a story, because this episode felt so overstuffed and felt so all over the place. It was like, okay, now we're talking about the finals. Now we're talking about Jordan's dad's death. Now we're talking about the media coverage of that. Now we're talking about baseball. Now we're talking about the Bulls without Jordan. Now we're talking about Jordan coming back. Now we're talking about his competitiveness. Like, it felt like so overstuffed. Like, it felt like 2 hours watching it because it covered like 20 different topics in an hour.
Quickly too.
Yeah. Like, it was like, I was like, did we just watch the whole thing and it just go by really quickly? Because there's no way they covered that many topics in 1 hour of episodes.
By the way, have you guys been watching? That first hour always feels like the A block of it is like half an hour long, and then and it feels different in the second episode. Like,
yes,
or is that just me?
I'm not gonna. You know, I thoroughly enjoyed it, but I kind of got bored toward the end of the second episode. I don't really know. There was just
I thought the second episode was really entertaining because I thought the Sonic stuff was. I thought that was the most interesting breakdown of a final series they've had so far. With the Sonic stuff.
I mean, I kind of got back into it once they passed the tablet to Jordan and everything.
Yeah.
But I'm just upset with the 2 episodes in general because
why?
And I'm going to try to book him for next week's show.
Oh, God.
But we did not get that exclusive LeBradford Smith interview that we've all been looking for.
I'm just going to ask this.
That's what you're upset about?
We all know that this should be on the 0203
around?
Wizards, not on the 97-98.
I mean,
did you just ask if he's alive?
No, I didn't ask that. I just asked, like, is he around? Like, has anyone seen him in the last 30 years? Like,
I think he might be a coach for a high school team.
Really? You know a lot about LeBradford Smith, who I looked up his career stats. He averaged like 4 points per game.
He had a good career for a couple of – he averaged, let's see, what is it? 9.3 points per game his second season in the league. Not bad. You try to do that in the NBA.
Good for him.
46%.
Let's see here.
I'm trying
for the Baltimore Bay Runners at one point.
He was the coach or a player for them?
Player. He averaged 6.7 points, 1.5 rebound, 2.2 assists.
Yeah, but
Put that guy in the Hall of
he had a
Fame.
10-year pro career.
This guy belongs in the Hall, guys.
Game wonder.
His basketball career took him to Poland.
It literally says on here, Smith is known for scoring 37 points on Michael Jordan in a road game against the Chicago Bulls on March 19th, 1993.
A game the Bullets
That's on
lost.
Wikipedia.
The Bullets lost, but, you know.
I mean,
isn't it crazy that Jordan would make up?
A random player on like a no-name team put up 40 against LeBron and lose. Like,
did you say he had a 10-year pro career? He played 4 years in the NBA.
No, pro career.
Well, yeah, who cares
he
about
for
that,
the Rapid
though?
City Thrillers.
What league are you?
The Quad City Thunder.
He had 1 year averaging over 5 points per game.
The Continental Basketball Association, the CBA.
Oh,
Wow.
what?
That was a thing.
He played in Spain, Lyon, Spain.
His nickname is Moose.
Yeah, Big Moose.
Oh, look who decided to show up.
I think that we need way more of an in-depth look on the 02-03 Washington Wizards than this stupid 97-98 Bulls team.
You know what? Go to NBC Sports Washington. Go to somebody in Washington who would care to cover that team and help collaborate with them on a documentary of sorts.
You could still probably make a 30 for 30 though about Jordan on the Wizards. You could probably make an hour-long 30 for 30 on that.
Yeah.
What have I missed?
And if you
Nothing.
nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
You missed
I-
Jesse
1.8
complaining about not enough LeBradford Smith in episodes 7 and 8.
What about
Or Bradford Smith.
There's a lot of things you could have complained about in those 2 episodes. That's probably like the least relevant of all the reasons.
I thought
it's relevant to Jesse?
Did you all see my tweet yesterday that was just LeBradford Smith, hashtag The Last Dance.
Yes, because you tweet 50 million times during The Last Dance.
Very mad about this, Matt. Do you want me to slow down?
I want to talk about the Space Jam bubble.
Oh, that's incredible.
Oh, that
Have
was
we
so
talked
cool.
about 1.8 seconds yet?
Yeah, Jeremy, you missed
We
that.
touched on it. a
Yeah,
little
we
bit.
did talk about that.
We're going to come
Okay.
back, though.
Can we go back real quick? Because Dennis Rodman should be on the list because he would.
Wait, we
probably-
haven't gone over the
We've
list.
not
yet.
done that
Any
part
shots.
yet.
He had 7 games where he had no points and
Jumping the
20
gun.
rebounds.
He would be on the list.
No, Dennis Rodman was all about the team. When
He
he,
really
got on the
was.
floor, he was all about the team.
If
When he
Cameron
was over in
Electra said-
Vegas,
if Cameron
but
Electra-
No, when he was in Vegas, he was all about getting ready so he could go back to the team.
I mean,
Vacation.
sure.
Yeah, he needed a vacation. It helped the team. If he hadn't gone to Vegas, they wouldn't have won the title.
But that's what like
Guaranteed.
Jordan said is like he said like, oh, when Rodman was there though, he was going, like he was ready, like he would have stayed in.
Look, I just want
Unless
to
it was for the
more
Spurs.
of these pickup games in Burbank or wherever in Hollywood where they were filming because that
The Valley.
was awesome.
Yeah.
Reggie Miller, Sean Bradley.
I've got a
Barkley,
question
right?
about Reggie Miller. Since we're all like generally around the same age, do you guys remember Reggie Miller being better than he actually was in our lifetimes? Because he was super washed by the time like any of us could remember anything. And I always remembered him as being like a star. And I looked up his stats. He was like averaging like 8 points and 2 rebounds per game by the time we were like.
I don't
able
know,
to
Max. I don't know if
comprehend.
I don't know if I would say he was washed at.
He was washed.
Let's see though. At
He
30,
was like the 6th best player on those Pacers teams.
at 39 years old in 04-05, he was averaging 15 points a game and he shot 93% from the line. His free throw
Oh,
numbers.
he was a good free throw shooter.
Bro,
Great.
his free throws numbers for his career are insane. Also,
Deli's a great free throw shooter.
also in his prime, he was excellent. Like when they went to the finals in like 99, 2000, like he was a great player.
Yeah, but
Sure.
Warner Brothers Studios.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. Matt, I gave you a good transition. Continue.
Thank you. Thank you so much. But by the way, look up and now you can't go on YouTube and do this. You have to Google 30 for 30 Space Jam. There's a parody like 6-minute mini documentary about the Space Jam game. It is hilarious. And this was made several years ago. So
What if I told you?
Max, Reggie Miller shot 47% from the field. He was a two-guard.
What?
He shot 47%.
Oh, is Jesse echoing for you guys?
Yeah, why am I echoing?
I don't know.
It's not me that was echoing.
Not me.
I don't know. All right, well, he shot 47% from the field in his career, Max, including
I'm not saying he wasn't good.
51%.
Just saying when we were
When
able
we
to
were
watch
alive.
basketball, he wasn't good.
Yeah, because when we were alive, when I was born, he was 33.
But that's just what I'm saying is I remembered him being like a superstar, and he wasn't at that point. He was like current day Vince Carter. Like that would be like people
Okay, he
imagining
was
Vince
never
Carter
that
as a
bad,
star.
Max.
I
He was
started
still pretty
watching.
good.
I started watching the NBA when Jermaine O'Neal was the best player on the Pacers. I don't remember
Exactly.
anything from Reggie's career.
When,
too.
Jermaine O'Neal was the best player when I started watching basketball, and Reggie was still in the league for
And
like
then
3 years after that.
okay, when they went to the
years was
finals,
How many years was Danny Granger the best player for the Pacers?
Two,
This-
made 2 All-Star teams.
Yeah,
Okay.
like
Danny
Danny
Granger was
Granger. Yeah, Danny Granger was a baller back in the day.
Max, if we're gonna talk about during our lifetime, Reggie was either the first or second best player on a team that took the Lakers with Kobe and Shaq to 6 games. It was him, Jalen Rose, Dale Davis,
Rose was good.
Mark Jackson,
Mark Jackson was good too.
Rick Smits, and Austin Crozier. Never heard of him.
Yeah.
Travis Best and old Sam Perkins. Al Harrington, young Al Harrington.
Al Harrington was a baller, man.
19-year-old Al Harrington. Old Chris Mullen was on.
Prime.
Jonathan Binder. I think you guys have heard of him, right? I
Yeah,
feel
high
like
school
Cousin of
guy.
Dragon?
what
No,
year
they're
is
not
that?
related. Jonathan Bender's from Mississippi, not Croatia or
yeah,
wherever.
for some
And
reason,
close
I've heard
enough.
Jonathan Binder. All right, but back to the those games were insane though, Matt. Like, can you imagine watching that in person? Like, there's had to be someone that was just there in the gym, right?
Oh, I mean, they had to have had film crews in that in that damn gym. Like just watching these unreleased pickup games, and it was just awesome to see that Jordan was able to work out with all these guys. But then he parlayed that into the best regular season ever, and then they won the final.
Not the best regular season ever. Best overall season ever, yes.
They only lost 3 games in the playoffs.
Well, it was the best regular season up to that point.
Correct.
I was sitting there last night and thinking, man, what the Cavaliers were able to do in 2016, freaking incredible.
Hell yeah, it was.
Regular season team ever, down 3-1 in a finals series, having to play 2 out of the last 3 games on the road. That is just...
And I couldn't enjoy any of it because I had jury duty the next day. True story.
What?
Yeah. I had jury duty that Monday night. Or that Monday morning.
Were you selected to the jury?
Yeah, I was on jury duty for 5 days after that.
How was that?
It was awful. Terrible. Like,
was
legitimately
it an interesting
awful.
case?
What?
Was it an interesting case?
No, we all knew the result of it 5 minutes in, and they still made us sit there for 5 days. Jury duty is just as boring as everybody says it is.
If it was the OJ trial, though, that would be interesting.
Sure, but the trial that I got was not.
My dad went to jury duty one time.
It was probably terrible.
I think all of our parents have been on jury duty. Anyway. Something that I found a little suspicious, I'm not saying I'm a believer of the conspiracy theory, but the fact that they had to have 3 people confirm this and spend 5 minutes on the whole David Stern didn't suspend him because of the gambling thing, it felt a little
I
It
should
suspicious.
have spent longer on it.
was a little weird. They were like, "Oh, there's no way nobody ever could have faked that," or whatever. It's okay, come on.
I don't think he was.
You could have just said it wasn't, and we would have all bought it.
Yeah.
You could have left it at Jordan saying
they
his dad
have
always
something
wanted him to play.
I don't think he was suspended because, again, like that one writer or whatever said, David Stern would not have had his biggest player suspended for 18 months.
Yeah, I'm not saying I'm a believer in the conspiracy theory. I just think it's suspicious, how much they spent on it and how 3 different people talk about it.
That was very, very weird. I agree.
Oh, and going back to the 16 Cavs, though, Draymond Green was suspended for that game.
Yeah, because he kicked someone in the not great place, so
Kicked
he
him in the
deserved
nuts.
that suspension.
Kicked him in the nuts. There you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, Jeremy.
On Wisconsin. I'll start walking.
Yeah, they would do that at the they would do that at those frat parties at Wisconsin.
Do we want to get into our list of people who would sit like Pippen did?
Yeah. Speaking of Draymond Green, he's on the list. There's our
Draymond Green's definitely on the list.
Draymond Green's on the list. If he wasn't involved on the play, because he's not much of a scorer. As Charles Barkley,
He thinks he is, though. Watch Draymond Green play basketball. He thinks he's Steph Curry when he's lining up his three-point shot. He thinks he is.
There's sometimes where he doesn't seem very confident in it, though.
Yeah, but the best is when you can tell he's feeling confident. Like, he's hit a couple shots, you can tell he's feeling confident, and then he hits one off, the top of the backboard or something. It's oh, no, Draymond.
I never see anyone with, worse misses in the league than him.
Oh, well, Russell Westbrook has some pretty bad misses, too, but they're both up there.
So does JaVale McGee.
Harden. Here, I know you guys wrote this list down. I'm just rattling off of memory. Harden, Westbrook.
I wouldn't say either of those.
I think star players should be off the list just because those guys would be taking the last shot.
Kemba.
They wouldn't be in that situation.
Kemba's the nicest guy in the league.
Yeah. But also Kemba would never not take the last shot.
Carmelo Anthony.
Yeah, Carmelo Anthony
Definitely.
would, yeah.
Kyrie's the number one.
Kyrie is the easy number one.
I think Dion's really high up there.
Dion's this.
Dion's
right
there.
Honestly, do one from each team, I feel like.
You could probably do one from each team. I agree with that.
Who would be the one from the Heat? The Heat got rid of all their toxic players. I don't even know who that would be.
Tyler Hero.
Iggy. Iggy was like, I'm not playing in Memphis. Get me the hell out of here. He would definitely do that.
Memphis is a playoff team. Like if they,
His ego is the size of the state of Florida. He would definitely do it.
Yeah.
Dude played average 7 points a game for the Warriors.
What about Anthony Davis?
Yeah. He's too humble.
Yeah.
Seems too humble.
I think it's too nice.
Fair enough.
I'm gonna say
Stevenson's on the list.
hungry. Fire emoji. Fire emoji. Pitchfork emoji. Devil emoji. I'm so blessed to be here.
Is Lance Stevenson on the list?
Yes.
Is Lance Stevenson in the NBA?
No, he's in
Genuine
the
question.
He's in the China League.
He's an
Jaylen Brown. Is Jaylen Brown on the list?
I was thinking Jaylen Brown. Marcus Smart is the better one from the
Smart, for
Celtics.
sure.
Yeah.
Isn't Jaylen Brown not on the Celtics anymore?
No.
No, he
Yeah,
is.
he's still on the
Definitely
Celtics.
is.
Who was the guy that got who's not on the Celtics?
Terry Rozier. You're thinking of Terry Rozier.
Terry Rozier. That guy too.
You guys talking about Jaylen Brown,
Strater?
the women's basketball player who also played for Cal? Like, fun fact, like, there was literally the best player on Cal this year on a terrible Cal team in a rebuilding year because the Cavs hired their coach. Her name was Jaylen Brown, I believe spelled the same, and she averaged like 19 points a game and was literally the only good player on that team. She graduated. Her last game was beating ASU in the
I don't want to talk about that.
Pac-12 tournament in Vegas, which was a foreshadowing to lots of horrible things that would come in next week. But just saying, yes, there was Jaylen Brown, male and female. They both played basketball for Cal and were both very good for Cal.
Serge Ibaka.
Yes.
No. What? No. Serge is a team player. He would not
Trey
be
Young. Trey Young.
Trey Young, yeah.
Trey Young taking that shot.
I don't accept this at all. You
Lonzo?
guys,
Luka.
Ball.
Lonzo Ball.
Lonzo Ball
Lonzo Ball.
is the answer.
Lonzo Ball wouldn't, but like if Lonzo Ball was ever not taking the last shot, LaMelo Ball or
LeVar Ball.
what's his name? LeVar. Like I've gotten them so confused at this point.
Yeah.
LeVar would definitely like do something to the coach afterwards.
No.
Well, if the
that's-
ball wasn't in Lonzo's hand on the last possession, like to make the decision, I think.
Yeah.
Like it. Obviously, Lonzo's also a pass first point guard at this point in his career.
Yeah,
So.
but at the same time, if you have 1.7 seconds, that Pelicans team, if you can get it inside to Zion or
Yeah,
outside,
it would be Lonzo taking the ball out, passing it to Zion, probably.
Mhm.
maybe.
They might go Redick for the spot up three.
I
That's
would
what
just
I'm-
like
He
to
played like 2 games this year. JJ Redick has been hurt all year. Like
Jeremy, you're wrong. He played 60 games.
I would just like to lock in real quick my prediction for the end of the series again, where I believe the last episode will end on like Jordan is like posting up Pippen and like Jordan's wearing his wizard stuff and Pippen's in his blazer stuff, and it's like this text comes up where it's like neither Jordan nor Pippen finished their career in Chicago or something like that, and then like it shows him like shooting over Pippen and then like cuts to black. Guarantee that's what happens at the end of it. Just saying.
Also, I need to know about Phil Jackson's tenure in LA because those had some good. He had some really good teams in it.
That's the problem with this is we still got like a lot of stuff left. Like there's 2 more finals. We got the flu game. We have like all their careers after the Bulls. Like we have a
The
lot
flu
of stuff to
game?
cover in 2 more
the
episodes.
food poisoning game, you mean?
Yeah,
Okay, even if it was food poisoning, it would be impressive.
he was faking food poisoning too.
You
He
ever
just wanted
had
sympathy.
You ever
The-
had
the-
food poisoning?
It's just
They
like
all
Paul
had the
Pierce
same
faking
food the night
himself.
before.
being
Jordan
injured.
suddenly came up with food poisoning.
Look, here's my prediction on the episodes. Episode 9 is going to focus in 98 on the 7-game series against the Pacers. In 97, they're going to lead up to the finals and talk about the flu game, whatnot. And then 98, then the final episode, it's all going to be about the Jazz and about their kind of rivalry with them. I mean, even though they play them in 97, if I'm not mistaken. And then, of course, culminating with with the shot that everyone knows. So
Can we talk? Can they hopefully touch on how Jordan became the GM of the Wizards and was terrible and drafted Kwame Brown and it forced him to come back and play because they were that bad?
I want to see an in-depth analysis on Dennis Rodman's Lakers career.
What about his Mavs career?
He played for the Lakers for like 10 games. I want to see more about that. Maybe we'll touch on crying Jordan.
the ceiling is the roof.
All right, are we ready to talk about Korean baseball?
Yeah, Jeremy, can you just give us a little insight on what you did for entertainment purposes only on Saturday?
I may or may not have put $20 on the dinos. And
Did you at least hit the money line?
no.
Jeremy, just what did you do? What? It was a 2-game parlay.
I had the dinos and I had the tigers. Dinos up by 6 runs. And then up by 4 runs going into the 8th inning. They gave up 7 runs in the 8th inning.
Whoa.
Well, that's overwhelming.
And then, well, the Tigers won. The Tigers won by a lot.
Yeah, they killed him, and we were like, Jeremy, you're gonna win $50 for entertainment purposes only, Monopoly money, not really.
Had a bad beat.
Not. It was a bad beat. Yeah, it was really bad. It was really.
Is the purposes entertainment stuff? Is it legal in Montana?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not entertainment purposes. Come on, Jesse.
Okay, so it's not legal in Arizona, so
In entertainment purposes.
Yeah.
So ESPN's KBO rankings have the Kiwoom Heroes as the number 1 team.
I don't like that because I think the most firepower in the league has to be the Tigers.
Yeah.
The Tigers, who are 2-4 and are the 9th ranked team in the
Yeah, but
league.
they have the most firepower, and they're the Yankees.
Look, here's the rankings. I didn't make them. ESPN did.
The Dinos are really good, though.
Yeah.
Kiwoom Heroes at 5-1 are number 1. The Doosan Bears at 3-2 are number 2. The LG Twins, who are 2-3, are 3rd.
I don't want to talk about the Twins. Move on.
4-1, they're 4th. The unbeaten Lati Giants, 5-0. The SK Wyverns, 1-4, 6th. The KT Wiz, 1-4, 7th. We lost Max. The Samsung Lions are 2-4. They're 8th. Kia Tigers, 2-4, 9th. And the Hanwha Eagles, 2-4, are 10th.
Are we going to talk about Straley's game the other day?
Wait, where are the NC Dinos?
4th.
Okay, good. Yeah, Swole Daddy.
Go Dinos. How about Dan Straley pitching a gem the other day, 11 Ks?
So pissed.
Australia.
Could have done that for the Orioles or the Marlins.
A gem the other day.
Well, wasn't he good for the Marlins a couple of years?
Yeah, he was okay. He just can't break 87 miles per hour.
Let me show you. It doesn't matter if you have good command. Zach Greinke throws a 65-mile-an-hour pitch, and it usually works. But here's Dan Straley for the Orioles last year. 14 games, 8 appearances. 14 games, 8 starts, 2-4 with a 9.82 ERA, a 1.993 whip, and he averaged 13.8 hits per 9 innings.
Wow.
Can I bring in a stat of the day, or can I be considered Fats and Info, something like that?
Yeah.
Sure.
All right. Here's your stat of the day. You can sing the intro. If you...
The fact of the day. The fact of the day.
You have your own version of it. Okay, play that intro.
Hey, Travis, the fact of the day. We want it now. The fact of the day.
Start it over.
Why?
All right.
I gotta say Matt.
Okay. Well, first off, shout out Travis for graduating today.
Yeah, he didn't go to graduation. He went to work.
Okay. Play the intro.
Oh, you want me to play the intro again?
Yes, play the intro.
Because he wants to yell
I
Matt.
wasn't paying attention. Sorry. I'll cut this out.
Hey, Travis.
Matt.
The fact of the day. We want it now. The fact of the day.
So that Dinos game, Jeremy. The Dinos led the LG Twins 6-0 after one inning, but ended up losing 10-7. For comparison, Major League Baseball teams holding a 6-run or greater lead after one inning. Get this, since 2010, so over the last decade, they were 1-13-1. 1-13-1. And in the KBO, that wasn't even the biggest comeback of the day. Doosan held a 10-3 lead over the Wiz after 5 innings, only to see KT score twice in the ninth to tie it 11-11. The Wiz went up 12-11 in the 10th, but couldn't close the deal. The Bears pulled even on a homer in the bottom of the 10th and won in the 11th on a Wiz error.
May Madness.
Huh?
Again? That's
Happened.
only been on the show for like 15 minutes.
Anyway, that's your stat of the day, your fact of the day.
Very good. Very good. All right, Jeremy.
UFC?
Yeah, Jeremy. We watched some terrible and some
Definitely
great.
paid for it. Yep, definitely paid for the fight the other day.
I paid for it.
Definitely did.
Pay-per-view.
Yeah, pay-per-view.
Yep.
Mhm.
ESPN
Yes.
Plus. I love giving Dana White money.
No, you're giving Disney money.
Yeah, Disney and Dana White. Both of them. I love them.
Good old Mickey Mouse.
Disney and Dana
Um,
White. Never done
I
anything sketchy, right?
have to say that Ferguson Gaethje fight was really good.
It's
I
insane.
thought,
How did Ferguson not die? Like, I don't know.
how did he last into the 5th round? Like,
He could have lasted
crazy.
longer if they let him keep going.
But I think the crazy story out of this was that Gaethje was the villain guy, and he was able to come in and knock off the champ, and he wants to fight Khabib Nurmagomedov.
Nurmagomedov, yes.
That one.
Khabib.
The guy who beat
You just
Conor
say
McGregor.
Khabib. It's like Giannis.
Yeah. But no, I thought that was highly entertaining. I thought Cejudo had a really good fight. I know they stopped it when they really shouldn't have. I know you got
There's
pissed
4
off
seconds
now.
left in the round. Just let him recover.
Yeah, he was on his feet. You're not knocked out when you're standing up, unless you're like wobbling. Like
He
the
was
dude
actually like on his knees.
As
Kind
As
out
of.
of
someone
it.
who's had concussions before, that's not true. You can 100% be knocked out, like blacked out and standing up. It's happened to me before.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I.
Yeah,
like,
I know you don't
Did you
know,
hear him
Justin.
talk though? Did you hear him talk after the fight? Like it didn't really sound like someone that was severely concussed.
There's 4 seconds left in the
How
round.
can you tell?
Because he was very cognitive. Jeremy, you heard the interview.
Yeah, he was fine. There's 4 seconds left in the round. At least give him, that amount of time between the round and to come back out. And if he gets punched and knocked out again, you stop the fight. I thought that was a bad decision by the referee. And then for Ferguson, after the match, to say, I was training for Khabib the whole time, and to, have to come out here and fight someone with a totally different style. Come on. That's total BS. Come on. Shut up. You're a fighter.
Ferguson's
The poor guy. Like, come on.
Ferguson's past his prime. He's 36 years old. And speaking of past his prime, in the prelims,
Jesse, wait. You said he's past his prime? He took like 900 punches and still stood up the whole entire.
36 years old.
Yes, that you just invalidated your argument.
No, but speaking of past their prime, 4 straight losses for Donald Cowboy Cerrone. So I think Donald Cowboy Cerrone, his career is probably going down the drain. He should probably retire right now. Maybe fight someone that he knows he can beat in like a prelim fight, just so he goes out with that W. And then
If you lose to Conor McGregor at this point in your career, you're done. Unless you're young.
he
If
got
you're
killed by Conor.
Yeah, if you get killed by Conor, like I'm not talking about like a Nate Diaz type who, I mean, granted, Nate Diaz beat McGregor, and then McGregor came back to beat him. I think that's who I'm talking about. I'm not the biggest MMA expert, even though I was Weston DeWitt's producer, and his show was basically an MMA show, a general sports show, but had to focus on MMA. But regardless, I mean, I didn't watch the Cerrone fight because I didn't want to see him get killed. So
I thought he was going to win because, like, Connor hadn't done anything good. Like, that fight against Khabib was awful. Like, Connor looked so done in that fight. But
Connor had the knockout in the first round against Cerrone.
yeah, it was, like, immediate.
It was over before it started.
Yeah.
That fight is, besides coronavirus and, like, the whole Iran thing, I think that's the biggest meme of 2020 is that fight because it lasted, like, 10 seconds.
What's the fight that lasted about, like, 15 seconds on Saturday? That one guy, he needs to fight someone better.
Francis?
Yeah. That guy was
Ngannou. I have a theory that if Ngannou touches you, you just collapse. It's crazy how strong that dude is. Like, he is a mutant. I saw him fight Cain Velasquez at Talking Stick last year. That was murder in an octagon. It was, like, again, over before it started. He barely touched him, and Cain just collapsed. And, like, he's a big dude, but not as big as Ngannou. Like, you can't beat this guy. It's just insane.
Was Ngannou the – hold on. Was Ngannou and Velasquez the main card there?
Yeah,
like,
it was.
The main event?
We waited like 4 hours to see Cain make his return to the octagon, and he got dummied by Ngannou. It was so disappointing.
Former ASU wrestler,
right?
right?
A huge Cain fan too, so we did not leave the arena in a very good mood that night.
Cain was an ASU wrestler, right?
Yes, he was.
Okay. What were you going to say, Matt? Sorry.
I was going to say, here in Las Vegas is where Francis lives, because I can't pronounce his last name, but he's starring in a commercial for a Mitsubishi dealer who basically, it's so funny. It's a little girl coming up to like him as the car dealer. The little girl has so many demands, and he just, with a straight face, is agreeing with all of them. And I just think it's one of the funniest things right now. Just look up Francis, whatever his name is, car commercial, and you'll see.
What about the worst fight of the night, Jesse?
Should I demonstrate, Jeremy, on the floor?
Yeah, here we go. Jesse, they were this far away from each other. Ready?
Okay. Let me change my background real quick. I gotta get on the floor. This is the most ridiculous thing we've ever done on the show, but also just ridiculous in general.
This is what Hardy had to fight. This is what Hardy had to fight the other day.
Jesse, what are you doing?
This is what Hardy had to fight.
That was the guy.
That was the guy. He was laying on the ground, and Hardy was like picking him up. He's like didn't know what to do. He's like trying to hold him, like doesn't know how to do a submission move. And Hardy's like, "Get him up off the floor. Come on, let's go, let's fight." And then Hardy just proceeded to not touch him for the rest of the fight anyway. Like, it's so stupid. This is the stupidest fight I've ever watched in my life.
Number one, Greg Hardy shouldn't be allowed to. There's two reasons why Greg Hardy shouldn't be allowed in the UFC. Number one, probably being the domestic violence. Number two, or definitely being the domestic violence. Number two being, accused domestic violence. Excuse me. Second being that he can't fight worth anything, even though he won. He beat another guy that couldn't fight.
Anybody?
Doesn't he have a pretty solid record?
Yeah, because
He fights guys like that.
I think in the fight he got disqualified for doing something. I don't remember what he did, but he definitely got DQ'd at least once. But like for a guy who fights on the like undercard or whatever, he's solid. Like he's also not been training his whole life for UFC like these other guys. He's still raw.
Yeah,
so
then go to Bellator.
Of a break.
it was the worst fight I ever watched in my entire life.
Yeah,
but he won. You can't say that he's not a good fighter if he has a solid record and his only losses are disqualifications.
He's awful. That was awful. That fight was so bad. I was literally rolling around on my bed while I was watching that, like dying of laughter. It was so bad. It was so funny. Like I'm sorry. It was so bad. MLB season proposal.
Okay, we want to move over to MLB now?
Yeah, MLB season.
Here's what Greg Hardy did. to get DQ'd in his last fight. The guy was literally on the floor, and he held his head, and then he kneed him in the head. Right.
He forgot that he was in the octagon and not in his apartment. Like,
Ooh.
yeah, actually, you can edit that out, right? Yeah, never mind.
He did football at the wrong
Yeah,
time.
he did football at the wrong time. Just say that.
He did.
So I saw that UFC 250, which is the next big number event coming up next month in a location still to be determined. They said 249 was hard ever. 250 is apparently not going to be the best. And some say it might be the worst. Like, what do you guys think of that?
I don't know, but it'll probably be in. I'll watch it, and it'll be in the Jacksonville Veterans Memorial Coliseum, where I forgot to mention maybe the funniest thing of the night, even funnier than the guy on the floor kicking his feet, was Henry Cejudo. He fought. He's only 33 years old. He fought. He said he's done enough in his career and retired, and to celebrate in an empty arena with no fans, doing, celebrating with absolutely no one other than his crew in his corner. But I think there was one fan there. Jeremy and I noticed.
Yeah. So there was one guy, like, when they were walking in up to the octagon, there was one guy with a mask on. He had his, like, phone out. He was filming it and, like, sticking his arm out and, like, fist bumping the guys. Like, he was in the stands.
That's probably a social media guy.
What?
It's probably the social media guy for UFC.
I don't know. He looked like a big fan.
He just looked like a fan. I think he was wearing one of those, like,
Probably paid like $5 million to be there or something. Like,
yeah.
Fun fact: one of my bosses, her husband is a photojournalist for the UFC, and like he gets to travel with them wherever they are. So I think he's in Jacksonville because she had to watch their young son earlier today. She wasn't in the office. Now, granted, she's been in the office, and I haven't been, but still, I have a little bit of a connection, by the way, if you know what I mean. But regardless.
Yeah, before we move on to MLB, I want to touch on another UFC-related thing that happened. It doesn't have anything to do with 249, but we found out, I think it was yesterday, that my boy, Georges St-Pierre, is going to be inducted into the UFC Hall of Fame. So, very deserving. Give him a round of applause. Kind of a legend.
Georges St-Pierre.
Is he from Quebecois?
He is definitely from Quebec, yes. With a name like that, you have to be.
Yeah, and us Americans like me say Georges St-Pierre.
GSP, yeah. We all know who I'm talking about.
From Quebec.
French is the third language I want to learn. So I want to learn Spanish, and then I want to learn French.
The MLB has proposed a plan for teams to return to their home stadiums by early July.
Baseball. But I was getting excited for the Dinos season. Are we going to give up on the Dinos, Jesse?
No, if there's still Korean baseball on and MLB, because there's not that much other sports, I will definitely, probably actually from here on out.
You have 24 hours a day watching both.
I will probably pay attention somewhat to the Dinos for the rest of my life. Thank you, I guess, pandemic, like, for this, but I'm a Dinos fan. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'm big. I'm about to get a jersey.
It's the only team that Jesse and I have in common is the Dinos.
Yeah, it's something that'll bring Jeremy and I even closer together in the bromance.
And the Sun Devils, clearly.
Yeah, the Sun Devils.
Yeah.
We have different
even though you cover them and you don't like talking about them in an opinionated manner. But anywho,
what?
Yeah,
exactly. I
get
my opinion on ASU all the time.
Yeah, and you shouldn't. Regardless,
I should. Fire Tracy Smith. I'll say it on the air.
Regardless,
what has he done? ASU is a storied baseball program, and all he has done is sink them into the cellar.
Yeah, congratulations, Detroit Tigers. You can replace Miguel Cabrera after the draft because Spencer Torkelson's coming to town. Look, my thought on Major League Baseball is the players are going to have to agree to this deal, and personally, I don't think they are. I think they're going to be more demanding in it's a comprehensive plan, I know, and there's a lot of changes, but I think the players are going to want more. And, based on the locality of some of these teams, most notably the Californian teams and the New York teams, I don't know if they'll be able to play home games in July because the Governors there and the Mariners too. I can't forget about them. The Governors there are so strict on the guidelines that they might not be able to play there.
Well, I know one place they can play because the mayor would say, let's go, and that is your very amazing city of Las Vegas, Nevada. Let's gamble away, people. Let's go. Woohoo!
Nevada, first
Whatever. It's a state.
There's 2 ballparks they could play in if they wanted to. The really crappy one, which a USL soccer team plays in, which I should trade my little thingy here out for my Las Vegas Lights scarf, which is in the other room, but also the Las Vegas ballpark, which is really nice. The home of the Las Vegas Aviators, the AAA team for the Athletics.
That was awful. That sounded so bad. All right. Well, while Matt's gone, I'll go through what the MLB has proposed to the players and what a notable player's response was. An expansion of playoff teams from 10 to 14 this year, 82-game season. The use of home stadiums in areas that have local and state government approval, a so-called spring training 2.0 that begins in June with a season set for early July, a universal DH, which I don't think makes sense other than that, like in this situation.
They're just going to start using a universal DH.
Yeah, it's just an excuse to put in the universal DH, which I hate.
I love pitchers hitting, though.
No, I like that the AL is DH, and I like that the NL is not, because you get the time of the season. You get the amazing times of the season where you get AL pitchers hitting in the NL parks. And then two more, Matt. Geographical schedules in which teams play only in-division opponents and interleague opponents in a similar area. American League Central teams play AL Central and National League Central teams, and a 30-man roster with a taxi squad that would have an upward of 50 players available.
So that would be in like Arizona and Florida that they would do that, like just where all the spring training ballparks are.
No, they would play in home stadiums, but in only areas that have like local and state government approval. Like, if Arizona, you're allowed to play like they play there.
Florida, Georgia, maybe Texas would be the teams there.
Montana has 4 major league size stadiums.
Look, my opinion on the DH thing, because I know, Jesse, you're so crazy about it. I think it should be like how they do in AAA, where you can have the option of having your pitchers hit or have a DH. I think that's how Major League Baseball should do it this year, if that's going to be the case.
If you got a pitcher like Greinke, you let him hit. You let him rake.
If you have Mad Bum, you let him rip. Arrieta, same thing.
CC Sabathia?
He's retired.
Yeah, but he was a great hitter. I loved watching that guy hit. I remember when I saw his 3,000th strikeout in Arizona last year, because I went to that game. That was one of the most fun sporting events I've ever been to. Seeing, like, we all gave him a standing O, even like D-backs fans. And it was like we were all hoping that he was gonna like go yard for like what I think it was one of his last starts in the NL. So
me and Mallory saw Felix Hernandez get a hit.
Mallory and I.
Get a hit in Seattle. Ask me how that happened, guys. How did Felix get a hit in Seattle?
I know how. Because the Marlins played a home series in Seattle. Because, what was it? U2 was at Sun Life Stadium?
Yep.
Yeah. I remember.
Wow.
I thought it was a hurricane.
No, it was
It was flipping too. Look, I saw the Toronto Blue Jays host the Phillies at Citizens Bank Park because of the G7 Summit being in Toronto.
We should play that video of us on TV.
Oh my gosh.
That was in Miami, that video.
I know, but it's still very funny.
Also, are you thinking that I know this random crap or?
No, I'm just laughing because like it's so typical Marlins that like, you know, Bono rolls into town and he's just like, we're better. We're better.
Well,
Let's get out.
Well, they're gonna sell more tickets than
100%.
That's great because they had to postpone this tour because I think Bono broke his back or something crazy like that.
I don't remember this really.
And it was
You just
like
remember going to the game, right?
21st century.
I remember going to a lot of like Mariners games, but I don't remember specific ones.
I'm a big U2 fan. They're probably one of my top 10 bands. When I went to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, my dad and I got to do a 3D U2 concert experience. It literally felt like I went to a U2 show. I put them on the list of concerts I've been to with an asterisk because it was that good. Like we were in a theater with 3D glasses on, like big surround sound. It was like a huge stadium show. It was absolutely amazing. Like if you ever go to Cleveland, Ohio, go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It's
U2 doesn't have a Sirius XM channel. That's all I gotta say.
You think they're that good? I don't know about that.
I listen to Bruce Springsteen's Sirius XM channel a lot, especially when when they air his live concerts. Or
Do you listen to the scrappy ones from like 2003 at the old Nets Arena that somehow are like recorded on someone's like crappy early 2000s cell phone?
Good audio, and may I say that he stretches out damn numbers. Like, I'm pretty sure 10th Avenue Freeze Out's about 15 minutes long because he introduces every band member. I was listening today while working.
Yeah, and he has to have 15 times where he slides on his knees. I don't know if y'all watched the Super Bowl halftime show of Bruce Springsteen.
That's the greatest halftime show ever, though.
Whoa, you think it's the greatest halftime show? Wow.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yes,
There's been a lot of good halftime shows. Bruno Mars.
Back when you were a radio show and not a Zoom conversation.
Mallory, I don't have screen sharing abilities.
Would you like screen sharing abilities?
Yes.
Why are we screen sharing? Are we
have things
talking about
share? And plus, I need it for the listen to your heart segment later.
Bruno Mars though, like that was a really good halftime show.
Oh my gosh! Why are you showing pictures of me?
why is this part of the show?
Marlins at the bottom. See, Florida.
This is awesome. Mallory, you can make sure to cut this out.
Mariners at the top.
We're having fun here.
Jack McKeon back and better than ever.
Did you take those for me? Did you take those photos?
Yeah. And your dad.
Not bad actually. I like this one. Do the one of the lineup cards.
There's my fave, Ichiro.
We'll blur it out of focus. Travis wouldn't be proud of that shot. I like it. What's the kid?
Look how blurry.
Look at the kid in the sweatpants. What happened to him? Look at us fighting. He's wearing a fighting.
Annabelle Sanchez.
He's still in the league. He's still dealing. He won a World Series.
Let's see. Good for him, though.
Who's about to play?
Fister batting.
Doug Fister.
Why'd they play in Seattle? Why did they fly across the country for this? Wasn't the Braves Stadium open?
Dustin Ackley.
Yeah, that looks like Dustin Ackley's career right there. Go back to that picture. Jeremy, go. Mallory, put it on the poll. Is Dustin Ackley whiffing at a pitch?
Going out to argue with the ump.
Mallory, put it on the poll. Is a picture of Dustin Ackley whiffing at a pitch? Jeremy, you can send that to her. Actually, we can't do polls and pictures, but just say is a picture of Dustin Ackley.
Jeremy, can you get off of your Facebook?
Hold on.
Yeah, Jeremy, you're still sharing.
We have to find the Felix because I have Felix batting.
We don't really have to find this.
Some more Jack McKeon. You guys can keep. Yeah, this is the Felix game. Hold on,
Mallory. But but please put on the poll is a picture of Dustin Ackley whiffing at a
Look
pitch.
at that batting stance.
his
Oh my
career.
He got a
gosh.
hit.
He's really reaching over the plate.
Look, there's
there.
the ball. He hit the ball.
Like, I'm not even a baseball guy, but that does not look right at all.
It actually looks like he's using good extension there. His jersey is about 6 times too big.
Look,
Look at how bad.
King's Court. The King's Court.
Yeah, I went to a game with the King's Court. It was fun. I went 4 years after that.
Look, it's Hanley. Yeah, you guys can keep talking now.
This is fun to reminisce about my childhood. How
We were
bad-
talking about the plan to resume the season, right? Like the
Yeah.
spring
Yes,
training
yes,
thing,
that
that's
was where
what
we were
were.
before we got off on this
Yes,
ridiculous tangent.
Yeah.
we should be able to switch out a DH or have pitchers hit game by game basis, not have a set DH the whole time.
I just want to talk about the expanded playoff format for a minute. I get that this is like an unusual set of circumstances, but I've always liked how baseball only has 5 teams from each conference or each league make the playoffs because it's like the best of the best. My favorite sport's hockey, where half the league makes the playoffs, and it kind of takes away from like that feeling of like competitiveness, you know, because it's not just like the top of the top making it. Like the last few years in the American League, there's been a team with like 90 plus wins that misses out because that's how good Major League Baseball is. And if you expand it to 14, it's still less than half the league, but I feel like that sort of takes away from something that is really unique and special about baseball. So I just wanted to get that off my chest real quick.
It's merely a thing to boost the revenue of the league, which they're losing half a season's worth of revenue. I get that. But, you know, it'll be weird, but, you know, that's the way it'll be if this is ratified.
If this all comes into fruition, which is a big if at this point.
This video is incredible. Look how much Jeremy wants Mallory to pay attention to the game.
Marlins.
Look at how much Jeremy wants Mallory. Like he's given up on his mom, but he's really trying to get Mallory to pay attention. And she's
like, here, look. You know how we always make fun of those golf fans? Like, let's go, JT. Look, I do this here.
Mariners cap, Marlins shirt.
Ready?
Mariners cap, Marlins
You see it?
shirt.
let's go, JT.
No, but the best part of the video is the announcer.
They're not sure who to root for.
Tommy Hunt.
I'm surprised he didn't roast your sunglasses. Those are like very interesting.
They're Marlins sunglasses.
My
I think-
sunglasses or Jeremy's?
They were given.
No,
they were-
Jeremy's.
I think
Jeremy's.
Jeremy's
For a
sold
giveaway.
The tinted lenses. I don't
They
know
were
about
a giveaway for that game.
I think
Is
Jeremy's
it
whole look
That I
at-
know a lot about late 2000s, early 2010s Marlins.
I mean, but like same division. I mean, like I kind of get it.
Listen, we're approaching the 10th anniversary of Roy Halladay's perfect game at Sun Life Stadium on Tambourine giveaway night. And
My bar
don't tell
mitzvah
me
date.
that.
My bar mitzvah date. Same day as my bar mitzvah.
Yeesh. By the way, I'm not watching that E60 on Roy Halladay because I don't want to cry.
I guess not.
Yeah, the whole like
Thing with it either way, because you're gonna get a lot about how dominant he really was too.
Yeah, but I don't want to hear about him having anxiety attacks and whatnot.
He said like drugs in his system when he died.
No. That's what happened to Jose Fernandez, too. Remember that?
Yeah, it was sucked. It was like it really sucked. So yeah, I'll watch it though because I like interesting journalism like that. Alex Smith.
I'll probably watch it too, but I'm not watching the Alex Smith one because that just seems.
If you don't like, if you're squeamish, like, don't watch that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna watch the Alex Smith one.
Because like I was considering making myself dinner and then I like waited 2 hours after.
which injury do you think is worse, that or the Theismann one?
It's not the injury that was the bad part.
Okay, but which one looks worse?
Which
How
one?
about that?
Probably the Theismann one. But the thing about Alex Smith is like if he had just broken his leg like that, like nowadays a compound fracture, like a lot of players have had those. Paul George had a compound break, like he was back and playing and fine. But if Alex Smith had a compound break and like the surgery had gone well, he probably would have been back toward the end of last season, maybe this season. But what happened is he got infected and like lost half of his leg. And so it was one of the worst injuries in sports history.
Moral of the story is don't play for the Redskins if you're a quarterback.
Don't play for the Redskins if you're a player. Like literally every year they have like 28 players on IR by week 14. Somebody needs to do investigative reporting about this because their players are just super. Like you go through NFL teams like on Pro Football Reference every week they list the injury report and you go through every team and it's like 7 to 14 guys and you go to the Redskins and it's 28 and like
what's the on when Chase Young's gonna get hurt for the season? Week 8.
Like it's literally the only like the most durable like last with the Redskins like London Fletcher, who played every game in his 16-year career, never missed a game, which is amazing. And then, like, Ryan Kerrigan finally missed 4 games this year and ended up on IR. But the first 8 seasons of his career, he never missed a game. What are we doing?
What are we doing?
What are we doing? What are we doing?
Jesse.
Dominic Cruz was not knocked out. We talked about it.
Okay.
What are we doing? What are we doing?
Okay. Jeremy.
Greg Hardy not knowing how to do a submission move and being in the UFC.
What are we doing? What are we doing?
I'll go to Matt next because I know we're gonna spend a little time on Evans. So Matt.
Well, mine. You might have to get some time with. Of course, I go off the sports map and go into something newsworthy. And right now, the newsworthy thing is people who decided to flock to Casa on graduation day. What the hell?
And none of them are wearing masks.
But do you know what year it is? Like, come on. You couldn't have a graduation because of a pandemic. I get it, they reopened, but come on. It'd be different if it was last year. I was at Casa last year on graduation day after graduation, but last year is a 360 to this year. Like, come on, Casa. I'm not blaming the people that went. If one person has COVID, 300 people have COVID at Casa. But Casa management, what are you doing? What are we doing?
What are we doing?
Right, I know what it is. I'm gonna do that.
Okay. Well, my what are we doing is actually about Jesse. He put a poll during The Bachelor Listen to Your Heart and asked if Bree and Chris are the best couple in Bachelor Nation history. First of all, he's only been watching Bachelor shows for like a year, so how can you talk about that? Like literally, like there's been 20 seasons like worth of all these Bachelor people who have like kids and have been married for like 15 years, and it was just like for like these people aren't even like engaged yet. So, Jesse.
What are we doing? What are we doing?
Bree and Chris are not the best couple in Bachelor history.
Chris and Bree, great couple.
Not the best in Bachelor history.
I don't know that. Some people agreed with me.
Why would you tweet that? Like,
because I figured that they're a really good couple and that, whatever great couples there were in the past in Bachelor Nation history, they would be up there. Like, I feel like some people would agree with me on that.
Great tweet, by the way, about Pat Monahan. I love that.
Okay, Evan.
I really wish we didn't have to talk about this, but we do. So obviously, I think you guys are all aware of the situation involving former Washington Capitals winger Brendan Leipsic that happened this past week. My man Leiper had his Instagram group chat leaked. It was a group chat with a bunch of Winnipeggers, his little brother, and this Panthers minor leaguer whose name I don't know were in the chat. Someone's account. Wait, it doesn't matter. He's not going to be an NHLer. Like, the dude is brutal. Anyway, someone's account, they're not really sure who, someone's account got hacked. 55 screenshots from this chat were posted on Twitter, and it was basically my boy Liper and all his boys from the peg just dissing like various wives and girlfriends of NHLers, talking about how they all do copious amounts of blow and molly and calling their line mates losers. So obviously, like, people were really upset about this. He got his contract terminated by the Caps a couple days ago. He wasn't coming back anyway. He had 3 goals this year in 61 games. But again, this makes hockey culture look kind of bad. So yeah, that's the situation. I want to hear everyone's this, because Jesse, obviously you're a Caps fan, so I assume you have some strong opinions. Like, should he have been released? Like,
I mean,
is all
like,
this being blown out of proportion, or did he get what was coming to him?
here's my opinion. Number one, Alex Ovechkin wouldn't do this because he, number one, has great publicity people around him, I'm sure. Number two, he's got a very beautiful wife. Excuse me.
Why are we talking about Ovechkin?
What do you say?
Why are we
He's
talking
going
about
somewhere with this. Just
I'm
wait.
going with it. But, Alex Ovechkin wouldn't do this, but he wouldn't have done what Leipzig did. But he would. But if he had, it would have been an apology. They would have quickly moved on from it. Maybe a little 5-game suspension action going on. And then, people would have probably been like, oh, Ovi had that one incident in an otherwise stellar career.
My response to that would be, yeah, someone's account got hacked, but this was an Instagram DM group chat. It wasn't like text message. And if you're talking about this kind of stuff, you might want to hide it a little better. First of all, just be a good person. Like, don't say this
Don't
type
talk
of
about
stuff.
this kind of stuff. Don't talk crap behind people's backs.
Right.
Really
But like, if you're gonna do that, make sure it's a little bit harder to find. Like, he could have definitely benefited from the social media training we got at Cronkite, where they teach you about like the digital footprint and everything. I guess no one taught my boy Liper about that, and now he's out of a job. And I actually agree with your second point, though. Like, if this is a star player we're talking about, first of all, it probably doesn't get leaked in the first place, and yeah, they're not getting their contract bought out. Like, definitely press conference, apology, like all that good stuff. But if he wasn't an obscure fourth liner who was probably going to be playing in Europe next year anyway, yeah, I don't think he would be out of a job right now. But another thing I want to talk about is that this is like not an isolated incident. Like, I played youth hockey, minor midget, like bantam, all that stuff, and this is basically what every team's group chat looks like. I guarantee you every hockey team on earth has a group chat with content similar to this, and he's kind of taking the fall here because people in hockey circles don't want to admit that this happens all the time. And this is standard protocol for stuff like this happening in the NHL, because you might remember a guy by the name of Sean Avery who got bought out by the Stars a few years ago because he called Elisha Cuthbert his sloppy seconds. He was talking about Dion Phaneuf. Like, he dated this girl. Dion was dating her at the time, and he said that before a game. He was on a 4-year deal. Liper was on a 1-year league minimum, and Aves still got bought out too. So I think they handled this about as well as they could have.
Yeah, they handled it well, but again, there's a double standard in sports. Like I've said, like, do you need to hold everyone to this, this standard, or not hold them to a standard at all? Because
always been that way though. Like, if you're any good, like, you get a second chance or a third.
Yeah, you know why? Because money. Because Ovi brings in people, Crosby brings in people, McDavid brings in people.
They also help you win games. Like, Leipzig was at certain points this year a decent fourth liner, but once they got Kovalchuk, he wasn't even in the lineup. The dude was getting scratched. So this divorce was going to happen either way. This just expedited the process a little bit. Either way, Liper, what are you doing, bud? And I hope you have access to Russian courses, because you're going to be playing in Europe next year. So
looks
have
like
fun with that, buddy.
I've seen people like on Twitter defending him, like, oh, like, it's an invasion of privacy, like, we shouldn't have seen that. But like, when you think about it, like, they were like already invading like everyone else's privacy of like the people that they were talking about, and just like you said, like, just be a good person. Like, this wouldn't have happened if they just wouldn't talk about stuff like that. And it was just like,
yeah.
I hated reading those screenshots, and it made me upset. So I'm glad that he got consequences.
Yeah, like
The one thing I will defend him on, though, is that he called his line mates losers for like not having him on their podcast or whatever. And there were people like Jamie McLennan on TSN saying that, oh, this is like an egregious violation of like team spirit and camaraderie and all that. He can't go back in that dressing room. Like, it's clearly a joke. It doesn't matter he said it behind their back. Calling somebody a loser doesn't mean you can't be on their team anymore. That was like the one thing I didn't get. But yeah, all the other stuff he said about like Tanner Pearson's wife, Connor McDavid's girlfriend, that's not okay. And yeah, he got what he deserved there.
We got a Zach Hampel video on TikTok that we need to watch. Hold on.
He's on TikTok?
Yeah.
Love it.
He catches all the home runs, right?
Yeah, we love him. We interviewed him.
He said, Chris Davis just hit that one. All over it, baby. That's your Zach Hampel sound of the week.
All right. So it was we're close to the finale of Bachelor Listen to Your Heart.
Can we get through this quickly so we can play Fortnite?
What?
Can we get through this quickly so we can play Fortnite?
I only have 5 looks likes, so yeah, we'll get through this.
All right, so let me open my notes here.
I don't have too many thoughts on this episode, honestly. It was good, but I don't have too many thoughts.
Chris Harrison enters to greet the Final Four. Rudy wants to get on Chris and Bree's level with Matt. Chris Harrison says there's a massive change. Off to Vegas, pack your bags. Matt thinks he's in trouble with Rudy. Trevor says you can never be emotionally safe. Then he sings to Jamie in the tour bus. Everyone takes like really cute Polaroids. And then when Trevor and Jamie like stop at to get gas or something, like Trevor gives her like a fake rose and they're talking in like weird accents. It was very cringe. Matt calls Rudy smoking. That's the first compliment he's given her. Rudy is the type who jumps quickly into things and wants to see where his head is at. Matt sees a possibility of falling, but he's hesitant. Everyone made it to Vegas, but Matt and Rudy are missing. Cut to a scene of them at a hotel in California. I have that written down, literally. I said they took matters into their own hands, and
if they didn't, baby, I'd be shocked.
They took matters in their own hand and just like had a fantasy suite earlier than the rest of them.
That's what I'm saying.
Then they show like in the transitions they show the Excalibur and like it made me like nostalgic. Anyway, Chris and Bree sing at someone's wedding on their date. When Matt and Rudy come back, Ryan asks if they slept in the same bed. I don't know why Ryan asked that.
Ryan's kind of weird.
Yeah. Matt is still trying to figure it out.
Ryan looks like he played Troy Bolton in High School Musical, the musical, when he was in high school.
Okay. Then comes the best date. Trevor and Jamie go to T-Mobile Arena and they have the whole like ice to themselves. They just get to like skate around, and then they put like a couch on the ice. They like had dinner. It was amazing. Apparently, Trevor grew up playing hockey.
That has to be like in my, I don't know, this is a second go around with this sort of show. One of the coolest dates. I think.
This was my favorite date like ever.
It was Trevor and Jamie.
Trevor, because I'm about as good. Like I could do that. What he does, like singing wise and playing guitar. There's nothing very impressive there.
Put it on the poll. Could Jesse do exactly what Trevor does?
Hell no.
Like I could literally play guitar and sing. Like you could pull it up on Facebook of me playing guitar in high school. I played in 2 talent shows. But
yeah, and then
I could literally do that, and I'm very envious of.
Put on the poll is saying I played in 2 talent shows. A brag.
Bro, what is Trevor? Like, Trevor is so just, like, mad talented. And, like...
I would say Trevor's, like, the least talented one.
She's literally the prettiest girl on the show. other than maybe
Okay,
some.
but we're not talking about their performances yet. We're talking about their hockey date. Then they're sitting on the couch on the ice and they go through a roller coaster of emotions. Trevor's not in love. Trevor's proud of Jamie. Trevor is crying. Now Trevor is falling in love. Then Jamie's crying. She's very happy. Time for the Matt and Rudy date. Matt grew up on Shaggy. He's very excited to see Shaggy. Rudy's falling for him. Matt appreciates her for being courageous. And Rudy starts crying because that was not the response that she wanted. Matt obviously is not falling for her. Natasha says Ryan is a man of few words, but the words that he does say are pretty awesome. See, that's a friendship, Natasha and Ryan. Like, who says something like that?
I think they're still together. I have a sneaky suspicion. Them getting eliminated really helped their relationship.
Hey, we didn't get the spoiler alert.
Wow, spoiler alert.
I didn't spoil anything.
Okay. Lauren and Ari are there. I put a poll, like, is Lauren qualified to be judging these people's, like, singing? Everyone said no. Can we have a moment for baby Alessi?
Please.
What do we know about baby Alessi?
Horrible Instagram page.
Trying to find her Instagram.
Please don't.
Okay. I'm gonna continue. You let me know when you find it.
I spoiled it. I do realize now how I spoiled it.
Chris and Bree sing "Can't Help Falling in Love" by Elvis. Really good performance. Jamie and Trevor sing "Just a Kiss" by Lady Antebellum. Jamie.
Here we go. I found it.
Okay.
All right, hold on. I have an issue with this performance. Jamie's genre is pop country, and there was a line in this show where she said, this is the song that we knew the least. You don't know "Just a Kiss" by Lady Antebellum? That's literally one of the most famous pop country songs. Like, Lady Antebellum, during "Just a Kiss" and "Need You Now" time, they were huge. Okay.
Complete silence.
Jeremy, do you want to read a baby Alessi caption?
Baby Alessi.
Cute kid.
Today was a big day, guys. Trying my first bit of grown-up food, and it was so weird. How do you guys eat this stuff? At first, I was like, this is so cool. And then, well, you see the second picture. You see the second pic. It's going to take a bit to get used to, but I might come back to avocados after I try a few different things first. I'm going through a lot lately, to be honest. It's tough for babies my age, being forced to lay on my belly all the time, constantly being held. And the food thing, well, you saw how that turned out today. Thankfully, I'm headed to Hawaii next week to get some R&R. Sleep on the beach is the best. Okay, guys, gotta run. Mom and Dad are about to try and feed me again.
Who the bleep is that?
That is Aria Lawrence, baby.
That's Lauren and Ari's baby.
And they run an Instagram page for the baby, and it's absolutely atrocious. Every post is like that.
One night, Jeremy just spent 3 hours reading every single caption in that.
They're a horrible bachelor couple. They're gonna last, but
yeah. They're gonna
last, like Jay Cutler and his wife.
Can I have a looks like that doesn't necessarily relate, but does Ari look like Steve Levy?
I don't know who that is.
ESPN anchor?
Yeah.
Can I get a visual on Ari real quick?
What did you say?
I think it does.
Can I see what this dude looks like?
Ari Lyondike. He
is
is
gray hair and it's kind of heavy.
Nah, I don't see it at all.
I see it a little bit.
Just a smudge.
He looks like a sports center. He looks like a sports center anchor. I'll just say that.
Yeah.
Okay,
He was a professional athlete.
Does he look like a sports center anchor on ESPN News during the day?
All right, go ahead.
In Jamie and Trevor's performance, she looked way more comfortable up there. She was kind of freaking out last week and shaking, but
this was their best performance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ryan and Natasha sing "Perfect" by Ed Sheeran. It was kind of like a weird rendition. Like
Horrible.
I know Ryan said he wanted to like change the arrangement, but it was too much.
Ryan
Playing guitar with the mic in his hand.
with the
Yeah,
mic in
I
his
was
hand.
about to get there. But I rewound, whatever. I don't know what past tense is. And if you like pause it, he reaches for the mic first, and then she gave it to him.
Intro.
So, weird moment, but Natasha messed up in saying the wrong part. She feels like she let him down. Rudy and Matt sing "Shallow." I've been waiting for this. I could tell like from the previews before the show even started that Rudy had a Lady Gaga voice, and just like to have like that type of voice and sing that song, it was really good.
Are we gonna play it? Can I play it?
No.
After it was really good though, Jeremy. I tried calling it, but he didn't answer. And even Matt sounded exactly like Bradley Cooper. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Then the roses happen. Matt.
Group number 1, Jamie and Trevor. Not necessarily surprisingly, but Jamie and Trevor got roses number 1. Roses number 2, Matt and Rudy.
Because they had a good performance, but they don't have a good relationship.
So down to a couple that you think is going to get married and a couple that no shot in hell that they're going to date outside the show. And Bree and Chris had a really good performance, and I thought should have been the first ones to get roses, but they were the third. Natasha and Ryan acted optimistic about their sort of time away from the camera. I just went on Natasha's Instagram. There's no real revelation that they're still together.
That's why I think maybe there's gonna be like you know how they usually do like a reunion, like where they are now, even though it's been like only 2 months. But Ryan said he can't wait to see what the future holds. But I still think they're just kind of like more friends.
Does Ryan look like he gets carded at grocery stores but does not get carded at bars?
That's so specific.
He looks old enough in the eyes of bouncers and such, but the old lady at the supermarket says, "Nah, I need to see some ID, sir." Mm-hmm. Does Natasha look like Sharpay in the touring version of High School Musical?
Dude, how did we both do High School Musical once today?
That's really – wow, she does look like Ashley Tisdale. That's crazy.
I should have came up with that 2 weeks ago.
I get Ashley Tisdale and the Lizzie McGuire actress very confused.
Does Trevor look like a financial advisor?
There's just something about Trevor. I can't put my finger on it.
Or State Farm agent.
All right, these last two are oddly specific. I'll start with Rudy. Does Rudy look like someone who can spontaneously bust into singing "These Boots Are Made for Walking" on an open mic night during a dead period of the evening?
Yep, I just pictured it. I just watched it.
With her group of friends that's like the only table in the bar.
Yeah, they're the only
and they're
ones
all going crazy.
It's like 2:15 in the morning. Everybody's gone home.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's "These Boots Are Made for Walking." Like
Yeah.
we
It has to be.
Only
know
song it
down
could be.
that's her song because one of these days these boots are gonna walk.
I want to
all
see
over.
more Rudy Lady Gaga though. That was insane.
I want to just see Rudy just like meet her. She seems like a really cool person.
Yeah.
But
I'd be
finally,
friends with her.
Okay, here's the thing. Like, Rudy is – I'm just going to get a little personal here. Rudy is, for some reason, the girl that I would go for on the show. And I think the other people on the show can realize why she would be the one that I would go for from certain experiences that I have gone through.
Yep.
Yeah.
Jeremy, you're in agreement?
Sure. Continue.
I tried making one for Jamie. I couldn't think of one this week, but I got a Matt one. Now, the front end of it I'm going to preface this by saying that the front end of this is kind of kind of makes sense in a way. The back end of it, I might need to explain a little bit. But anyway, does Matt look like a Minnesota Vikings fan who leads a skull chant in Philadelphia to try and rile up a group of Eagles fans?
And he's had like 4 cold ones.
Maybe more than that. Definitely has had more than 4.
Wait, where's Matt from? Scroll down a little bit. Where's Matt from?
He's not from Minnesota.
California.
He's from,
But like no, Jeremy, like I feel like he's the kind of guy that like just from a
Hey, this guy's with me over here. This guy over here. Let's go.
definitely looks like the guy who gets drunk at the football games and starts riling up opposing fans.
Yeah.
gets in one of the infamous fights at the Cardinals Rams game that we went to.
Why I thought Minnesota Vikings and Skull out of any of them. We clearly could pass Eagles
He
fans.
does look like he's from Minnesota, though. Like, he's got the Minnesota – I think it's just the goatee.
Yeah.
Wait,
like,
can we make fun of Jeremy's top left tab?
local coach reacts to
Vocal coach. Jeremy, which vocal coach? You stop sharing. Jeremy, is it the one guy that like is always he did the Chris Stapleton video too? Like he reacts to all the videos. Did he used to have long hair or still has long hair?
I couldn't tell you.
Don't act like you weren't watching that video, Jeremy.
Shout out Grande and Bieber. I heard Stuck With You while getting my hair cut the other day. I thought it was kind of a good background song.
Great song.
Background song?
Or you got that? Well, I mean, it's really not, again, like I was about to go into it, but it's not even the best Bieber song of the year. I mean, when you have, or I don't know when Yummy came out, it might have come out late last year, but that song is literally Beethoven, the Beatles. It's one of the greatest songs of all time. Girl, you've got that yummy yum. I mean, nothing
terrible.
Nice hair, man.
Thank you. I got this cut, by the way, since they're legal now.
Me too. I got this cut. This has been cut.
Doesn't look like it.
She did a really bad job. She forgot how to cut. Yeah.
I had a 3.5 hour wait to get my cut.
Listen, that's why you make appointments with your person.
I wouldn't.
Well, I went to Great Clips, which is around the corner from my place. So it's not like I was waiting there. I was waiting in my apartment for 3.5 hours.
Until there's rapid fire testing, I'm not touching a haircut place because I will continue to just buzz my hair.
They will. They disinfect everything.
I don't care. Like the person is the thing that I'm worried about. Like being that close to someone else. Like, I will.
Polls, Mallory, the polls.
The buzz is not that bad of a look.
All right, I'm departing. Good night, guys.
Good night, Matt.
I don't need to hear these polls. Good night, y'all.
Good night.
Farewell.
This show's been way too long.
All right. Let me go scroll down.
Oh my gosh, Mallory. We're not ready.
I was not ready. Did anyone actually think that Chris and Bree were going to get married in this episode? Because in the previews, they showed them at a Vegas chapel. 47% yes, 53% no. This was one of the look-likes from last week. Does Ryan look like the waiter turned shift supervisor at a family restaurant who was scared to deal with the family returning their chocolate chip pancakes because there are too many chocolate chips in them? 78% yes. Okay, I'm upset at this poll. Anyone else super jealous of Jamie and Trevor's day right now? 61% no, just you. 39% yes.
There's not enough sports fans on our polls, I guess.
Not enough hockey fans. Like,
just
there's
sports fans in general.
There's probably a lot of people who watch sports that voted no, just you on that. Hockey gets disrespected in America, Jeremy.
Also, they probably just wanted to vote no, just you, because people suck.
How many people voted?
18 people. Does Rudy look
small
like
sample size?
Yeah, small sample in statistics. Does Rudy look like the contestant on Family Feud that gives a stupid answer during Fast Money and causes Steve Harvey to flip out? 100% yes. What is Matt more excited about? His relationship with Rudy or being on stage with Shaggy? 92% Shaggy.
How many people voted?
26. Have you been waiting all season for the Shallow performance? 78% yes.
How many votes?
18.
Always give me the number of votes here.
Does Jamie look like the babysitter who unwittingly lets the kids she's watching drink too much soda and now they're bouncing off the walls and Jamie is anxious after getting a text from the parents saying their date night is ending ahead of schedule? 100% yes.
How many votes?
17. Now this was just a tweet I've been waiting all season to hear Rudy hit those Lady Gaga notes, and she did not disappoint. It got 9 likes.
Yeah, we could get into the whole tweeting with the eye under.
Why are you so mad about that?
I don't know. I'm not mad about it. I'm just saying, like,
as a social media manager, we got 9 likes on that, Jesse. You need to.
I'm gonna log Jesse out from the account.
No,
am I?
No, you don't do that.
I don't. Okay, then Jesse started polling. Did it sound like Chris Harrison? What was the context?
Matt was like, "Oh, that sounds like Chris Harrison."
83% yes. 6 votes. Jesse's polls don't get lots of votes.
Some of them did. Some of them got like 20.
Does Vegas always sound awesome until you're on day 3 of your trip? 88% yes.
It's true.
Is Lauren qualified to be judging this? 90% no, 41 votes. That was my vote. Okay, this is the one I did. Are Bree and Chris the best couple in Bachelor Nation history? 64% no. 25
Yes,
votes.
we're going up on my side. Let's go.
I'm so upset. I need to find the people who voted on that. Did they finally give Jamie and Trevor a song they can sing? 73% yes, 11 votes. Does Ryan look like the guy in a jazz club sipping a martini with sunglasses on? 73% yes, 11 votes. What's this Pat guy? How do you say his name?
Pat Monaghan. You don't know who that is?
No. Does that guy want his money for the appearance and to go home? 92% yes, 13 votes.
Pat Monaghan. He was the second judge.
Oh, I didn't know who the judges were except for
You're from Train, like, "Hey, Soul Sister," maybe before your time.
I know that song. I hate when you say maybe
Jesse,
before your time.
Train? You like Train?
Some of their songs are okay.
You sit there and tell me the Train is a good band, Jesse.
I like Drops of Jupiter. That's like and then all their songs sounded like the same after that. All their songs are Drops of Jupiter. Hey Soul Sister is overplayed. Like, Play That Song is just heart and soul. Like, it's literally the basic song that everyone knows on piano.
Next poll, please.
Yes.
Are you shocked that Ryan and Natasha stayed together? I'm not sure I like this poll because it's not confirmed that they're still together. They got into separate SUVs. They said, we're excited to see how this goes. That's code for, this isn't going anywhere. Does a picture of Dustin Ackley horribly whiffing at a pitch sum up his career? 100% yes, 4 votes.
Okay.
A retweet from a random person.
Sweet. I love those retweets from random people.
Yeah, what about that reply from that person who said it wasn't that serious?
Yeah, and I did "You Don't Get the Show" meme.
Yeah, I was trying to find it.
My thing is, we posted something about the Vikings needing more receivers to complement Laquan Treadwell last year or something.
You spelled his name wrong.
Yeah, and then people were like, "What are you talking about?" They have really good receivers. Maybe the second best receivers in the.
Oh. Jeremy. All right. Well, this has been a fun edition of the Why So Serious show. I'm Mallory Snell, along with Jesse Morrison and
What happened?
Special guest Evan Oshowitz.
I'll send it to you.
Jeremy Snell.